We must grant ourselves sufficient latitude and wisdom and interrogate whether the continent of Africa is liberated from the disease that we have declared from unto ourselves in 1963. Today, the continent of Africa continues to punch below her weight in the economic arena, in the political arena, and in the social arena. Africans are dying younger than they were dying in 1963. Today, the continent of Africa is more disunited and more disintegrated than it was in 1963. We have our young men and women pursuing their way into the United States, to the Americas, to the United Kingdom, to Germany, to Italy, to Belgium, via the back way, because there is no opportunity created for young men and women. Today, as I speak to you, the continent of Africa is not at peace. Today, as I address you on this important occasion, there is upheaval in the Democratic Republic of Congo. There is instability in Somalia and South Sudan and in Cameroon. Young men and women of the continent of Africa are dying and being arrested and molested and have their rights violated because there is threat of insecurity and the fundamental human rights deprivation. This is the tragedy of Africa. A long time ago, a great man from one of the East African communities have always said that the tragedy of Africa is that Africa never misses an opportunity to miss an opportunity. And that is the context in which we have found the situation of the continent of Africa. We live in sad times. We live in a continent where men and women judge each other on the basis of their ethnic extraction, on the basis of their social and religious extraction, rather than on the basis of the content of our character. We live in a continent today where your young men and women who are pursuing their courses in the various courses and various academic institutions do not have the facilities that are required for them to pursue their careers. We live in sad times. We live in a continent today where our romantic economists and statisticians will often tell us that the economies of Africa is growing. But wherever there is the growth of economy of a particular continent or a particular country, and that effect is not reflected on the life of people, that is merely an equivalent of a voodoo economic system. I therefore hold the view that the economies of Africa may very well be growing, but there is a sense in which we must almost recognize that sense of romanticization of the indices and numbers. This is indeed the tragedy of Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so very much delighted to be present here with you, inasmuch as it gives us an opportunity to conduct a physiological examination of the faith of the continent of Africa. It has been said in 1962, Chinua Achebe, in his moments of doubt, when he cast his eyes on the continent of Africa, he posed the question that where are the young suckers that will grow when the old banana dies? Chinua Achebe, on this day you are lying in your grave, but I have a report to give to you that the young suckers that he was talking about are the same young suckers who cannot grow because the old bananas refuse to die. The old bananas refers to the older generation. The old bananas are supposed to disproportionately give some amount of fertilizer and quantity of water to the young suckers so that they may grow and liberate the continent from the chains and manacles of backwardness, from the chains and manacles of poverty, from the chains and manacles of disintegration, from the chains and manacles of disunity. Chinua Achebe, as you lie in your grave, the young suckers that he was referring to are the young suckers who are constituted in this assembly, are the young suckers who are present in the area of education, are the young suckers who are present in the area of skills, are the young suckers who are present in the area of entrepreneurship, and are the young suckers who are present in the area of activism. And that is why I believe that I owe a gratitude of appreciation and compliment to the leadership and volunteerism of Roti, the Rise of the Young, for pioneering and instituting an assembly such as this, because it is a mark and demonstration of the love and the heart that they have for the continent of Africa. For it is only in that context that we can demonstrate to the world that we are capable of feeding ourselves, that we are capable of steering the affairs of our generation, that the young suckers that the Kino Achebe is talking about, we are the very young suckers that he is talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, as I draw to the conclusion of my speech, a number of things come to my mind. The continent of Africa today suffers from extensive and intensive leadership drought. We have our young men and women living in a country and continent today where their appetite is not sharpened to instill in them sense of love and patriotism. And the last time I checked, the foundational principle upon the growth of every society is love and patriotism. I urge you, even as we assemble in this assembly, even as we are constituted here, let this assembly be an occasion where it will instill sense of enthusiasm, sense of wisdom, and sense of spirit in us, so that when we go out there, we are able to stand firm and demonstrate to the Afro-pessimists and demonstrate to the Afro-cynics that we are the generation that are equivalent to Savios of this generation. And inasmuch as we are concerned, the continent of Africa will be liberated, despite the conflict that continues to stunt the generation, despite poverty, hunger, and disease that continue to stunt the generation. The continent of Africa will rise, because Africa must rise. The children of Africa deserve nothing but to rise, and the young men and women of the continent of Africa deserve nothing but just to rise. Writing therefore and speaking therefore in the early days